Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. My name is Sam and we are continuing our romance recommendations, and today's trope is fake dating. So this is part 2 of my little romance recommendation series. Today we're doing fake dating as our trope, which is another trope that I really like. I actually have read a lot of this, but I always think I'm not gonna like it until I read it, and then I do. I do that with a lot of books, honestly. I think in my head that I don't like things that I actually do really enjoy, so this is just one of those things. But I've got 6 fake dating trope recommendations for you, so let's go ahead and get started. Before we get into the video, if you haven't already, go ahead and hit that subscribe button, and the little bell icon will notify you when I post. I post on Sundays and Thursdays, and we've got 6 books to talk about, so let's go. Number 1 is The Spanish Love Deception by Elena Armas. So this book follows our main character, Catalina, and her sister is getting married in Spain, where she's from, and she needs a date because she has been telling her family about this American boyfriend that she doesn't have. But one of her coworkers that she can't stand offers to go with her. She's very against it, but she doesn't really have another option, and they end up fake dating. He's playing the role of her American boyfriend. They go to Spain for this wedding. We've got kind of like a workplace enemies to lovers fake dating, almost like The Hating Game meets The Love Hypothesis. But I really enjoyed this book. It's super fun. It's a super cute rom-com. It's got some decent spice in it, and it's really enjoyable. Next up, we have To All the Boys I've Loved Before. This is by Jenny Han, and it is a young adult romance, and it is a trilogy, and it follows our main character, Lara Jean, and she is a high schooler who has written a love letter to every boy she has ever had a crush on. There are 5, and she's kept them in this little box in her closet, but one day suddenly those letters get mailed and her love life kind of explodes from there. And I'll be honest, it's been a hot minute since I read this book, so I don't remember how the fake dating thing occurs, but I'm pretty sure one of those crushes is her sister's boyfriend or ex-boyfriend, and in order to kind of, since that letter got sent out and she doesn't want him to think that she's still in love with him, even though she absolutely is, she ends up kissing another boy in the hallway, and he agrees to fake date her to kind of like prove that she's over her sister's ex-boyfriend. It's a trilogy. It's cute. I actually didn't finish the trilogy because there's a plotline that I don't particularly like. I wasn't happy with where one thing was going, but it really didn't have anything to do with the main romance at all, and it wasn't something that I wouldn't recommend. A lot of people love this book, and I really like the first 2. I just didn't really like where a certain part of the 3rd book was going, but it had nothing to do with the romance or the main characters in this book. It was a very minor side thing, so I would still highly recommend this one. It's also a movie on Netflix, which I haven't seen, but I heard the movie's pretty good too. Next up, we have The Love Hypothesis. I talk about this book a lot, and this is by Ali Hazelwood, and it follows Olive, who is a PhD student, 3rd year, and long story short, she ends up fake dating one of the professors at her school to both prove to her friend that she's over her ex and help him land the job that he wants. Anyway, so we've got kind of like a Grumpy Sunshine and fake dating going on here. I did talk about this book in my Grumpy Sunshine video, so if you want to kind of know the dynamics of that, I can link that below. And that's, I mean, I feel like I've talked about this book in every single video I've put out for like the last 2 months, and it makes it sound like it's my favorite book ever. It's good. It was a 4-star for me. Like, it's good. I really enjoyed it. I wouldn't call it my favorite book ever, but if you like fake dating, it's a solid fake dating read. Alright, next one's a little bit more minor in the fake dating. It's not the concept of the whole book, but we have The Hating Game by Sally Thorne. This is a workplace enemies to lovers kind of romance, and we do have a little bit of fake dating here. So we've got our main character, Lucy, and she and Josh are coworkers who don't get along. I did talk about this one in my Grumpy Sunshine video as well, so I won't talk about it too much here, but we do have a little bit of an element of fake dating in the second half of the book going on here, so if you do like that trope, this does incorporate that. It's not the main plot like The Love Hypothesis, but it is in there somewhere, so if you like that trope a lot, this one is a pretty solid read. It hits a bunch of different tropes, and it's really good. Next up, we have The Honeymooners. This follows Olive and Ethan, and they both have a sibling, and those siblings are getting married, and they are the maid of honor and the best man in that wedding. However, everybody at the wedding except for these two ends up with food poisoning. So the bride and groom cannot go on their prepaid honeymoon to Hawaii, so they basically demand that their siblings take it. But their siblings hate each other. So they end up having to pretend to be their siblings on this all-inclusive prepaid vacation to Hawaii for a week. So we've got some fake dating, and it turns out that Ethan's ex-girlfriend is there, so then it turns into having to pretend to be dating not just in front of the hotel staff, but also in front of his ex, and I guess this is more of like a fake marriage rather than fake dating, but same concept. It was super cute, super fun. This was one of the first like adult rom-coms that I really read, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. Next up, we have The Deal by Elle Kennedy, and this follows two main characters. We've got Hannah and Garrett, and Hannah has a crush on a boy, but he doesn't notice her, and Garrett is a hockey player, but his GPA is plummeting, and he's about to get kicked off the team. So he convinces Hannah to tutor him in exchange for a fake date to get her crush's attention. But obviously, there's more dynamics going on between the two of them, and it kind of evolves from there. I actually haven't read this yet, but it is on really high up on my TBR. I really want to read this. I'm hoping to fit this somewhere into my TBR game for June. I've been really looking forward to this for a couple of months now. I want to read the whole series. So if you like fake dating, if you like college romance, sports romance, this is going to tick all those boxes for you. So those are my fake dating romance recommendations. Any one of those is going to be great. I'm super excited. If you have a fake dating romance recommendation for me, you can leave it in the comments, or if you have a trope that you want me to recommend some books for, you can leave that in the comments as well, and I will get to it as soon as I can. I really am enjoying these videos. I think they're a lot of fun to make, and I will see y'all in the next video.